Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning begins with fire safety. In 2016, there were 1,342,000,000 fires reported in the U.S. Those fires caused almost 3,400 civilian deaths, 15,000 civilian injuries, and $10.6 billion in property damage. The goal today is to make residents aware of outstanding programs and services that educate citizens of Milwaukee's young and old about how to prevent fires and what to do in the event of a fire. My first guest is Lieutenant Michael Ball. He's a Community Relations Director for the Milwaukee Fire Department, where the motto is courage, integrity, and honor, under the leadership of Chief Mark Rolfing. How are you, Lieutenant Ball?
I'm fantastic, Andrea. How are you?
Thank you for being here. I'm doing well. And there is a message that you drive home to all ages. Seconds can be the difference from your family escaping a fire or that fire actually becoming a tragedy. So again, our goal today is to remind our viewers of the importance of fire safety through programs and services that you offer. And today we're looking at programs that you offer to young people in particular. So let's talk about some of those, starting with your school-age fire prevention program.
Sure. A community relations section of the Milwaukee Fire Department is comprised of myself and 3 firefighters. And our job is to go out into the community, whether it's classrooms or other organizations where there are young people, and just talk to them about the importance of fire safety and how to get out of a house that is on fire safely, and what to do, because so often it's something we probably never encountered before, and so it's a very scary thing, and the first thing that people do usually is panic and often do the wrong thing, and sometimes that can be very detrimental.
Oh, absolutely. And you think about, as adults, we would panic. And so when you think about children, they really need to have a message drilled in their head over and over on what to do. I remember growing up, there was the stop, drop, and roll song. And it sticks in your head. It really does. So you guys talk to children in and out of the classroom about dangers of playing with lighters and matches, and then also kids having a plan, 2 ways in and out of the house in case of a fire, and definitely knowing how to call 911.
Right, that's so important. We teach our children that in our Survival Live classes, but we also teach it anytime we encounter children, because we talk to children, and we have fire drills at school. We teach them what to do in case of a fire, where to go when you get outside your meeting place, and yet the children spend most of the time at home. And so if we're doing it at school, shouldn't we be doing it at home? Yes, we should. And so it's so important to practice that at home as well. Yeah,
so you always emphasize to parents, those important things. Like you said, having a meeting place in case of a fire. And really something a lot of people don't think about when they have a second level. You do have on the market these stairs that come out of a second floor window where you can have a way to climb down, right?
Yes, and that's certainly an option. We always encourage people, if they do happen to have those ladders, that they practice from a lower level, maybe practice from the first floor level, because they can be rather wobbly and difficult to navigate. The biggest thing that we really want to push and emphasize is the importance of just closing the door. So often when people encounter a fire, they panic, and we'll pull up on the scene and people are hanging out of the windows and sometimes jumping out of the windows. The fire may be in a different part of the building, but because they're so panicked, they don't think clearly about what they could do. And all I had to do was close the door to the bedroom. That's going to keep that fire, going to keep the smoke out of that building. It's going to keep a safe environment for you for quite a long time. It's going to take a while for that door to burn through.
Okay.
When the fire department gets on scene, the first thing we do is we do a 360 the whole building. We're going to see you hanging out the window. We're going to get a ladder and get you out. So just let people know. Close the door. It's so critical, and yet so often people forget to do that.
So even when people are sleeping, you suggest they keep the door closed?
Yes, and I know sometimes for younger children it's a little scary to keep the door closed, and we certainly understand that, but as parents we should be trying to encourage them to do so. Parents, the whole family should be sleeping with the door closed.
Yeah, and I remember also growing up, you guys teaching people to touch the door before you open it. Exactly. If it's hot, then probably not a good idea.
Right, have to find that other way out.
Yeah, okay. So what really made me call you here today is because we're constantly hearing news stories about fires. Most of the time it's homes that did not have working smoke detectors, but most recently there was a 5-year-old girl who, if I remember the story correctly, she was dropped off at someone's home for a 4th of July party, and someone at that home was playing with a lighter. There was a fire. She had to be recovered by firefighters from a 2nd floor, and she was in a closet unresponsive, and that home did not have working smoke detectors. So there are a lot of key things in that. Yes. So the main thing, I just wanted to just remind everybody to just think about how hard the job of a firefighter is. Not only are you going into a burning home, burning building, whatever the case, your objective is to save lives. So those two things, that's a lot of responsibility to have on a job every single day.
It is. It is. It really is. I mean, as we're when we get notified of a fire and we're on our way to the fire, there's a lot of things that are going through our mind. And like you said, the very first thing is always life safety, is importance of making sure that everybody's out of the home safely. Once we know everybody's out of the home safely, we can concentrate on putting out the fire. But if we know that or think that someone is still inside the building, yes, we're going to have crews working on putting the fire out, but we're going to have crews that are doing things that they normally wouldn't do, putting themselves in a more hazardous position because there's a possibility of somebody that we might be able to save, and so we want to get them out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and so you guys on that scene were able to revive that little girl, and
yes.
She's recovering right now. And so I'm sure I speak for a lot of people when I say thank you for your hard work, and you really do put your lives on the line every single time you go into a fire. So
thank you.
We appreciate that. This is the thing. When someone is in a home without a working smoke detector, you lose that much time. So you guys have a special program that's set up for individuals if they don't have the money to get a smoke detector, or they may be elderly and can't install it, whatever the case, you are there to help. Tell us more.
We are. It's so critical. I mean, if you do nothing else, please at least make sure that you have a working smoke alarm in your home. First of all, I want to talk just briefly, having that smoke alarm, having that early alarm that, hey, that there's something going on. Had this family had that, because we all know when you're cooking, you burn a little toast, your smoke alarm is going off.
Yep.
They're very sensitive. And so that gives you plenty of time to get everyone out of the home. Had they had that, this would have never have occurred. And so just having that early warning system is so important, having that alarm set up. And yes, we have programs. If you cannot afford a smoke alarm, we'll come out to your home. One of our fire crews in the city will come out to your home. We'll put a smoke alarm in free of charge. We have a 24-hour hotline you can call 24/7. And that number is 286-8980. 286-8980. Okay. Call 24/7.
Okay, and with that said, we are focusing on kids, and I've also heard news stories where it was the young people in the home who really gave the directions on what their family should do when a fire broke out, and that really goes to the Survive Alive house, where you put kids in a real live house setting and teach them what to do, and they take that with them when they go home.
They do. We've had a lot of great success stories. And it all kind of started in 1987. We had two very severe fires where we lost 18 people, and 16 of them were children. And they were just a few weeks apart. And so that started the city leaders thinking about, hey, what do we need to do here to prevent this from happening again, to reduce the fire deaths. And so one of the things that came up with, in conjunction with Milwaukee Public Schools, was the Survive Alive House. And it's a program that all MPS students are required to go through in the 2nd and the 5th grade. And it's a great program to educate young people on how to prevent fires from happening, what to do if you encounter matches or lighter or things like that. And then if you are in a fire, what to do, how to safely get out with your family.
Yeah, so you have a Survive Alive house that's located at 2059 South 20th Street.
Yes.
And then you guys have 2 mobile units that you're able to take out to locations, maybe if there's a festival or maybe a school group or something of that nature. People are able to make reservations for that.
Yes, if it's a large enough group, it's very labor intensive to get the trailer out there, and it gets requested quite a bit, which is great.
Yeah.
And so yes, we'll do quite a few different events, block parties, and things like that, larger church festivals. a lot of we participate a lot with the National Night Out coming up here in August. There's several of those that go on throughout the city, and yes, kids that are out and about, we run them through, and adults too, because a lot of times adults will be sitting outside. They're like, I'll let my son or daughter go through there, and then we'll start asking them some questions, and they don't know, so we'll say,
you come through too.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Reservations can be made from May through September,
Right.
and you guys also have this counseling program for young people who probably show a habit of, playing with matches, lighters, and flammable things of that nature. So talk a little about that.
Sure. We have it's called the Youth Firestarter Program, and my firefighters and myself have gone through some specialized training to help counsel some of the young people that might be involved in fire setting behavior. And how it starts is our firefighters will respond to a fire. We have a fire investigator on staff. They'll ask some questions. If it's determined either by the investigation or the family members that, hey, one of our children was involved in starting the fire, we ask them if they'd be interested in speaking. It's totally voluntary. They're not in any type of trouble, but we just obviously want to stop this from happening again. And oftentimes the families, they're afraid too, because this is something that maybe they've seen happening a few times in their household. Now it's led to a devastating fire. So we'll sit down with the parents and with the child and talk to them and try to get to the root of why they're doing it. And sometimes we can help stop it from happening again, and sometimes we have to refer them to people that have a lot more training than we do.
Yeah, a professional who actually can get down into the psychological thought process of what's going on. Yeah, for young people who are interested in volunteering, especially those young people, you always see kids that grow up and say, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a fireman. So if you have a young person in your home and they are set on that being a career, you guys have a special program that allows them to really work with you and help make a difference.
Yes, it's the Junior Fire Institute. It's a fantastic program for 14 to 20-year-olds, boys or girls, and it happens one Saturday a month for 4 hours at the Training Academy on where the Fire and Police Academy is on Teutonia Avenue, just south of Good Hope. And even if a young person, whether they're interested in fires, learning to be more about what is involved in being a firefighter, or they just want to do something on Saturday to have some fun, it's a great program that you learn a lot about leadership. You learn a lot about, obviously you get to do a lot of fun things, like you get geared issue to, you get to do some chopping and search and rescue and some first aid things you learn as well. But you also learn a lot about just good life values and about leadership, and it's a fantastic program. And if somebody is interested in the fire service, it's a great way to get a hands-on experience with what firefighters do. So, and also there's some volunteering that they also do as an organization. So they'll go out and help on different fun runs and offer some assistance, and so they've helped us out even with a few events as far as community relations and fire prevention. So
that's what it's all about, right?
It
yeah.
really is.
And for young people who are actually high school seniors and recent graduates, age 17 and 19, you have your Fire Cadet Program, and that really is grooming them to take it to the next level, right?
Yes, it's a phenomenal program, and I always encourage young people to see if they're interested in the fire service. It's a great way to become a member of the fire department. There is a testing process, just like anything else, and with a written test and an oral interview, but if they can make it through that, you're competing with just 17 and 19-year-olds. So instead of competing with the whole city or the whole world, as far as anybody, when we have when we open up enrollment to the fire department, it's open to everybody. But the cadet program is obviously only open to 17 and 19-year-olds. So you're competing with a much smaller group, and it's a 2-year program. They learn so much in those 2 years, and they become paramedics by the time they leave that 2-year program. They get Spanish. They get a lot of. It's actually a 2-year associate's degree is what they earn.
That's awesome.
And then they're after that 2 years, they go into the next recruit class. That's 16 weeks, and they come out as full firefighters.
Definitely a way to get your foot in the door.
It really is. It's a fantastic
Is there
program.
anything else you wanted to share with us as we wrap up?
Just that, again, we mentioned it before, but I mentioned it again because it's so critical, and our firefighters are out every day. We're going door to door, making sure that people have working smoke alarms, and yet we're working on trying to hit everybody, but invariably we can't get to everybody. And so if you don't have a working smoke alarm, please call that number if you can't afford one, or purchase one if you can. If you haven't checked your smoke alarm, make sure it's working.
Yeah.
And then finally, just talk to your kids about what to do if there's a fire. We're happy to help as far as give you some guidance, but have an escape plan. Talk to your children about having 2 ways out of each room. And then when you get outside, have a meeting place that everybody goes to, and someone calls 911. It's those components right there, the escape plan, having an alarm, and then what to do if there is a fire in the home. If you can just practice those, it'll make such a huge difference, and it really does save lives.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for your time and coming by today. It's been a pleasure. Lieutenant Michael Ball is the Community Relations Director for the Milwaukee Fire Department. For more information on anything that we've discussed, you can go to city.milwaukee.gov/MFD. And again, that smoke detector hotline number is 414-286-8980. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll look into the importance of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, commonly known as CPR, and we'll learn some tips that can help you save a life. We'll do that right after this.